So originally, this was going to be another video on chat reporting, but the problems I'm going to discuss in this video stem beyond chat reporting and have been an issue for a while. I'll still discuss chat reporting when the time seems right, but it's not the main topic of this video. One of the things I really like about Mojang and the developers that work on Minecraft is that they listen to their audience. Whenever people request to see something added in the game, they'll do exactly that, and while it may take a while for something to happen, this can actually be viewed upon as a positive thing, because they not only want to wait for the right opportunity to add something, but they also try not to rush whatever they're working on and listen to as much feedback as they can in order to make every feature as good as it can be. But of course, nobody is perfect, and while I believe Mojang does a lot of things right, there are issues within the company that exist, and one of, if not the biggest issue with Mojang currently, is their communication. When it comes to asking for feedback on new features, I think they do this well. Even though this is something that's pretty easy to do, not many companies understand to do this, but I think they fall flat in everything else related to communication, and I'll be discussing a few of the biggest areas. If you end up enjoying this video, like and subscribe, and click the bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. I would really appreciate it. And with that said, let's get on with the show. One major problem with Mojang's communication is that a lot of the time, it doesn't feel like they properly plan out certain things they say, and sometimes one of the developers or employees will contradict what someone else previously said. There's actually quite a few examples of this, and I'll be going through some of them that I could find. The most obvious example is from the previous Minecon in 2021. There, the Wild update was announced, and it was talked about by Lady Agnes, one of the lead developers in Mojang, what the update would be about, and here's what she had to say.
So we want to celebrate the wilderness of Minecraft, and one thing we want to focus on is immersion. So when you play Minecraft, we really want you to feel that you're inside the Minecraft world, actually like we are now. So beautiful. And we also want to focus, or have focused, on biome diversity. So we want to find a unique identity for different biomes. For example, the birch forest, as you can see in this beautiful concept art. So in the birch forest, we want it to be light and peaceful, and the sun reaches the ground, the trees are taller, and the flowers, things like that.
So according to her words, this update will focus on biome diversity and giving each biome its own unique identity, and we even see an example of this with the birch forest. Sounds cool, doesn't it? But guess what? All they end up doing is updating the swamp, and technically they didn't even update it, they just added a new swamp-themed biome. And the biome is cool, don't get me wrong, but Agnes's words really imply that we're going to see more than just one biome get updated. Heck, the birch forest on its own was an example of miscommunication. The way it was shown off implied that we were going to see it get some changes, but then months later during one of the Ask Mojangs, we just end up getting told this.
At Minecraft Live, we did show some concept art with birch forest improvements. However, concept art is not a commitment, and this time around, birch forest improvement is not something that we have continued working with.
So concept art isn't a commitment, yet they discussed the birch forest like it was something that was going to be a part of the updates. If you're not fully committed to adding something in an upcoming update, then why even show it off? That makes zero sense. That's like if McDonald's showed off a new food product in one of their commercials but not actually adding it to the menu. Another major example of miscommunication comes from Minecon 2019, when a Nether update was first announced. During the announcement, we got a look at 3 of the new Nether biomes coming to the updates, but the way Lady Agnes presented them was a little bit misleading. Here's exactly what she said.
We wanted to introduce biomes to the Nether.
Yes, so we will actually show some of them today, and the first one is the Soul Sand Valley.
Soul Sand Valley.
Going off of these words, the biomes shown off were just some of the new Nether biomes that we would see in the updates, which implied that there were going to be more biomes than what we saw. But then after the first Nether update snapshot, we were told this by one of the community managers, Helen Angel, who is now a formal community manager, which means she quit. But here's what she said.
Well,
yes.
we've already said bastions, right? That was already tweeted out by Agnes, and we do not have them in the snapshot. So yes, will there be more biomes added? No. This is it for biomes. I think that's enough for you guys.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't really like Helen Angel that much. I think she has a very condescending attitude when she speaks, and she's also been wrong about a lot of things, which makes it hard to trust anything she says. But now I'm getting a little off topic. Overall, the issue here is that we were led into thinking that there would be more nether biomes just to be told otherwise. Someone on Twitter asked why Mojang would do this, and Dinnerbone responded with this message on screen. We don't commit to features until they land in the public's hands. We've always worked this way and we can't tell you what's coming next because we're still not entirely sure ourselves. There may be another biome, but there may be other things in its place. We don't know yet. Honestly, this message is kind of confusing. I get the point Dinnerbone is making here, but it feels like he's sidestepping the actual complaint. He basically says that they can't tell us what's coming next, even though they pretty much did exactly that. Agnes also responds saying that she was expecting there to be at least one more biome, but then now she wasn't really sure. I should mention that we do end up getting an extra biome in the Nether update, which was definitely nice, but like with the Wild update announcements, we were led into thinking that there would be more than what they actually had planned, just to be told otherwise. If I were to give any advice to the devs when they announce a new update, I would recommend being more clear on how big the update actually is and how much content we're actually getting out of the updates. Or at the very least, only show off features that you're 100% sure will be in the update, and anything else that you're not sure of just don't mention or even hint at, because all you're really doing is disappointing people when something doesn't get added. If an update is smaller than most others like the Wild update was, people are less likely to be disappointed if you don't raise their expectations. If you just tell them, hey, this might be all we're doing in the update, we can't promise anything else, then you're not only less likely to subvert expectations, but more likely to surpass expectations if you end up adding more to an update than previously intended. There are a few other examples out there of information being presented poorly or someone's words getting contradicted, and a lot of these come from Twitter, aka the worst place on the internet. Back in 2020, someone asked Jeb when we were going to see the new mountain features from the 2019 biome votes, and he responded by saying that they would be added sometime that year. Later on in the year, however, a Minecraft news page would retweet this to show proof that we would see the new mountain features in 2020, but then one of the Minecraft developers, KingBeDogs, responds by saying this: "Until we announce something official on the Minecraft Twitter, there's no public, official plans of what the next update is, / when it will release. That doesn't mean it isn't okay to speculate, but do try not to state things as fact until it's been officially announced, winky face." Of course the king is not wrong with what he's saying here, but it's not like this guy just took some baseless claim right out of his ass. He literally showed proof directly from Jeb himself about when the mountain features will be added. Now obviously, this tweet didn't age quite well since new mountains weren't actually added until over a year after this interaction, but speaking in the context of when this tweet was first made, it really feels like KingBeDogs is contradicting Jeb's words here, not on purpose, but it still comes off like that. A more recent example of this comes from a few months ago when SliceTime announced one day that a snapshot would be delayed due to unrelated events. Some people began speculating that this had something to do with some sort of announcement, and while I don't think SliceTime's tweet on its own was really trying to imply that, one of the other developers named Adrian retweeted SliceTime's tweet with the eye-looking emoji, and this is really where people started to think that there was something interesting going on, because the way the emoji was being used in this context implied that there was something happening. And it wasn't just Adrian, because Jeb himself responds with the exact same emoji, and that's really where it hit home. The thing is, there was nothing actually going on, and SliceTime went on to make a few angry tweets clarifying that, and while he didn't exactly take the best approach with this particular tweet, he did apologize for that later on. Clearly SliceTime wasn't the one to blame for the confusion, he was just doing his job. However, reading through his tweets, I feel like he was missing the point of why people were misled and was looking at the situation from a black and white perspective. With maybe a few exceptions, people didn't just start creating wild speculation because of the snapshot delay, it was because of the way Adrian and Jeb responded that made people curious, and while there are many cases of people speculating crazy things regardless of the context, this wasn't an example of that. But oh well, it's not the end of the world. There is a lesson to be taken from this, however. Don't respond to anything with this emoji unless you're actually trying to tease something. Okay? Cool. Here's a cookie for your troubles. There are some other examples out there of contradiction or poorly thought out words, but I can't find where they originated from. But overall you get the point. Occasionally, each member of Mojang will say different things, and this can be an issue because sometimes they'll accidentally contradict each other, and sometimes they might just think of their words poorly and mislead lots of people. So I think that in the future, whenever someone in Mojang says something, they should be more careful on what they say in order to not create confusion, and try not to say anything that goes against what someone else previously said, unless you're trying to correct them. This next issue kind of ties in with the last one, and that issue is that Mojang have promised a lot of things, or at least teased something to be added, but ended up either cancelling something, or just delaying it indefinitely and not saying a word about it for a long time. There are definitely exceptions to this, like the losing biome vote and mob vote features, and the new upcoming combat mechanics, but there were some things that were specifically stated to be coming soon but didn't. Xbox ray tracing was something that was being worked on for a while, but a few months ago it was removed out of nowhere, and there wasn't any reason given. During the Minecon 2019 post-show, one of the Minecraft developers, Kojo Max, had this to say about the Illusioner mob being fully implemented in Minecraft.
First, so Corey, you work on the vanilla gameplay team. What are your plans for the Illusioner mob?
Oh, the Illusioner. All right. So the Illusioner has been in the game for quite a while, but it hasn't actually, at least in Java Edition, but it hasn't actually been part of the core game. It's just been there kind of hiding. So I really want to add the Illusioner to the game. We've been wanting to add it for a while, but we didn't have the technical capabilities originally. So we've been working on building up those capabilities so that we can add it in. And I really, really want to see them enter raids. I think they would be perfect for raids. I think they would be a great addition to those, and planning that soon, hopefully.
Awesome.
Now I'll admit, he did say hopefully soon, which doesn't automatically mean soon, but it's been almost 3 years now since this was said, and unless I'm mistaken, the Illusioner was only brought up again once after this, and I would show the tweet on screen, but I can't find it. Regardless of what Kojo was trying to say, I think it should have been made more clear when we would actually see the Illusioner, or at least it could have been said whether it would be in the next update or not, or even the update after. The smithing table and fletching table were added in the Village and Pillage updates, but they weren't given functionality, and the devs stated that they wanted to wait until the next major themed update to add functionality to them. However, they only half kept their word. The smithing table was given functionality in the Nether updates, but as of today, after over 3 years since it was added, the fletching table still does nothing aside from making villagers trade sticks. It was stated by Jeb during an Ask Mojang that the fletching table would eventually get functionality, but that doesn't change the fact that it was literally stated that the fletching table would get functionality at the same time as the smithing table. Even though the birch forest changes were never promised, do you know what was promised? Fireflies. This was something that they showed off at Minecon and said would be in the updates, but then they end up cancelling it, and they literally wait until a month before the wild update's release to actually say this. They did mention during one of the Minecraft Now streams that fireflies were originally going to be the way you get frog lights, but then they realized that some species of fireflies are poisonous to frogs, so they replaced fireflies with magma cubes, but it was never specifically stated that fireflies would be removed from the update at that time. Honestly though, I don't think that was really a good reason on its own to remove fireflies. They could have just been added as nothing more than ambience for the mangrove swamp. But that's aside the point. The point is that they promised for fireflies to be added but then cancelled them. Okay, so while editing this video, I actually thought of another great example that should be mentioned. After the Caves and Cliffs update was announced, we got an Ask Mojang where they answered certain questions about the game. One person asked if we were going to see the losing mobs from the 2017 mob vote get added, and one of the developers, or I think she's an executive producer, said no to this question, but she also had something else to say.
So this one is for you, Sarah. This next question is from Fricks Forgotten, and they're asking if could we see the addition of the losing mobs from the 2017 mob vote in the future? I know they said they would never be added, but a lot of the community still want to see them added.
I feel like I'm the boring person in this, but we're not planning for that at the moment. No, sorry.
Oh, it's a bit sad. So do you think we could potentially add like any similar mobs to that? Or is that something we're looking at?
We have so many ideas of things we want to add to the game, but we always try to add what's most valuable for maybe the theme or the update that we're working on that works best with the features we want in. So whatever fits best with what we're focusing on for the moment. So now Caves and Cliffs, obviously, and anything that goes well with that. We're adding a lot of mobs with Caves and Cliffs.
All right. So these mobs are still down in the graveyard for the time being.
Right now, I would say yes.
Okay, thank you.
So if you missed it, she specifically stated that we were going to see a lot of mobs in Caves and Cliffs. Now what exactly does a lot mean? Well, let's look back in past updates. Update Aquatic added 8 new mobs if you include the new fish, Village and Pillage added 7 new mobs if you include cats and trader llamas, and another update added 5 new mobs if you count piglin brutes. Taking that into consideration, you would probably expect Caves and Cliffs to have roughly the same amount of mobs as those updates. Well, let's see how many mobs were actually added in the final update. Including both parts of the update, Caves and Cliffs added 3 new mobs. That's right, only 3. I will say in Mojang's defense that the Warden was originally planned to be in the updates, but even if it wasn't postponed, it still would have been less mobs than even the Nether updates. Now I personally don't mind how many mobs an update adds. I even said in my update versus update videos that it's not the amount of mobs that counts, it's how much use they actually have. But regardless, we were told that there would be a lot of mobs, and then we only get 3. So either me and Mojang have different definitions of a lot, or they just once again raised our expectations too high. Now I understand that things will change during an update cycle, an idea that Mojang once had they probably reconsidered adding due to it not fitting in the game, but like I mentioned earlier, they should only announce features that they're very positive will be added to the next updates, and anything else they could either say we might add this but we're not sure yet, or just don't even reference said feature. Now let's talk about the obvious elephants in the room, chat reporting. This is a feature that was added to the game completely out of nowhere, nothing was said about it at all, and when the Minecraft community got very vocal about how bad it is and asking to remove it, what did they do? They delayed the update and shared an article, but the one thing they didn't do was remove it. Aside from the article, Mojang has been pretty quiet about chat reporting and the intentions behind it, and ever since it was added, we've only gotten a few official responses from Mojang members about the feature, all of which are quite vague. There might be a reason for this. In one of Slice Slime's channel updates, he says they aren't allowed to speak out about their honest thoughts in chat reporting, but I'm not sure if this is true or not, because 2 of the other developers, Felix and Jappa, have given their honest thoughts on the feature, and they're clearly in support of it. So I think maybe Slice Slime is trying to say that they can't speak out against it, which makes more sense, but that can also take away a lot of trust from the developers, because how are we supposed to trust them if they can't be completely honest with us? This also sort of proves something to me that I've been saying for a while. If you watched my videos on chat reporting, then you'll know that I don't think Mojang are at fault for this feature, but instead the evil corporation known as Microsoft. However, this isn't confirmed, and I've seen some people show evidence of Mojang being fully responsible, but I'm not sure whether to trust it or not. For example, there's one tweet I've seen pop up from Helen Angel saying this, but like I mentioned earlier, she's been wrong about a lot of stuff, and if you want an example of this, she said that pandas were only going to be added to the Minecraft China edition, and well, I guess you could say that didn't age quite well. And like what I showed earlier, she said there wouldn't be more nether biomes in the nether update, and that was wrong, but she even also said other features like bastions wouldn't be in the update either. So yeah, I wouldn't trust what she says. If you guys do have any sources that prove Mojang are to blame for this, then feel free to share in the comments below. Even if Mojang are responsible for this, that doesn't mean every single one of the developers are responsible, nor does it mean they all agree with it and support it. And here's a tweet from Dinnerbone to prove this. Though to be fair, this tweet states that he hasn't been at work for a while, but you get the point, right? Regardless of who's to blame, that's not the point. The point is the way Mojang is choosing to communicate about this. A few weeks ago, a post was made on Reddit by one of the community managers. I shared this a few weeks back, but I never gave my honest opinions on it. However, I think this post is really bad and poorly worded, and overall is a prime example of how Mojang's communication has been with this feature. First off, it contradicts itself. The post says that we should go to the appropriate places to give feedback, and that our feedback is valued, but while saying that, it also says that chat reporting won't be removed, which is the one thing that almost the entire Minecraft community wants. What's the point telling us to give feedback if you're not going to listen to it? This post also talks about how you're not always going to get what you want out of life, which is completely true, but like I just said, almost the entire Minecraft community is against this feature, and I say almost everyone because I have seen a few people who do support this, but still, are you really just going to tell the vast majority of your player base to suck it up? I have seen some arguments that it's just a vocal minority that's against this, and while it's true that the loudest groups tend to be the smallest, those kind of groups are usually toxic people, but I don't think that really applies to this situation because a lot of the people who are against this are your average Minecraft players, a lot of which respect Mojang and are very passionate for Minecraft. Another thing to highlight in this post is where it talks about the devs being attacked and being constructive when sharing thoughts and opinions. Now obviously, I don't think people should be attacking the devs, and if you are someone out there who's doing that, then I ask kindly if you please stop. Not just because it's wrong, but like I said before, even if Mojang are the ones to blame for this, it's not like every one of the developers are behind it. That being said, even though I don't think Mojang employees should be getting attacked for this, it's already bad enough that Mojang is ignoring our complaints and refusing to remove chat reporting, but the fact that they're telling us how we should act and behave is just surprising to me, and the way they're saying it in this post feels very spoiled and childish, and almost condescending. They're basically saying, hey, if you're not going to be nice to us, then we're not going to listen to you, which from a marketing perspective is a really bad mindset to have. This message implies that Mojang cares more about their feelings not being hurt than actually listening to the people who they develop Minecraft for. And I'm not saying that's the case, but that's just what it feels like. I understand it's hard to listen to lots of people say bad things about you, and it's actually one of the reasons why Notch stepped away from Minecraft. But I think Mojang needs to realize that there are always going to be toxic people out there, and there's really nothing they can do about it. Trust me, I want to feel as positive as I can. I completely prefer positive environments, and I do think it's easier to solve problems if everyone spoke positively and communicated like civil humans. But there are some points in life when something happens that will make you or someone else angry, and it's okay to be angry, it's okay to express negative emotions. In fact, it's completely normal to do so. But I'm not sure if Mojang fully understands this. If someone makes a tiny little mistake that has no serious consequences, then of course there should be no problem being cool about it and giving them friendly advice in the future. But if you purposely do something really bad that can negatively affect lots of people, and you're perfectly aware of the consequences but still do it anyways, then people are going to be angry, and they have every right to be, especially if you're not going to listen to them. And you can't just tell us that acting in a negative manner isn't going to accomplish anything, because we've already tried asking you guys to remove chat reporting the right way, and you won't listen to us. So really, what else are we supposed to do? Should we start doing the Gangnam style dance wearing man-sized diapers outside Mojang HQ? So TLDR, I don't think the devs deserve to be attacked, but regardless of who's to blame for chat reporting, adding something that nearly nobody wants, ignoring every single complaint to remove it, and then trying to tell us how to behave like they're our goddamn school teachers? Yeah, sorry, but the audacity to even try and do that is insane to me. I will say though, I have read through a lot of posts from the devs on social media, and there are times when some of them seem pretty stressed out about community backlash, this situation in particular being no exception, and a lot of this stuff comes from Twitter. So this made me think, Mojang should have stopped using Twitter as their primary source for communication and sharing information about Minecraft, because every time you go on Twitter, you're basically flipping a coin. You either walk away from Twitter feeling fine, or having your entire day ruined. Instead of using Twitter, or even any social media app for that matter, I think Mojang should create a private forum where people can interact with the developers and ask for any questions they have, and the devs can also use this to share updates and stuff they're working on. Mojang has already done something like this in the form of the feedback website and the bug tracker, but I think having a special place for asking questions related to Minecraft and sharing update information would be nice. So overall, while I do respect all the good that Mojang does for the community, nobody is perfect, and sometimes you'll have to admire the gum that's stuck underneath the desk. Like I said at the start, I think Mojang does a good job when asking for feedback, but when it comes to other things like the stuff I mentioned, there's clear improvement that needs to be made. Chat reporting will probably stay as an unresolved issue, but all the other things I talked about I think can be improved, and I'm actually kind of hopeful that they will be. And I say this because just recently during one of the Minecraft Now streams, Lady Agnes confirmed the day of the next Minecon, but she also had something else to say.
Yes. Now I'll ask you a question, and then Ingela has to build for a little while.
Awesome.
What do you have planned at Minecraft Live?
Oh. Well, I'm very happy I get the question about Minecraft Live.
Yes.
Well, first of all, there will be a Minecraft Live.
Yes, I guess that's a good place to start. Yes.
There is a Minecraft Live. And actually, I can even announce the date. So it's October 15.
Yes.
So it's soon. I'm checking it.
Well, that's coming up pretty soon.
It's not 5 minutes, but it's in a month. So true. And so that's amazing. And we of course gonna announce new exciting things. But I would love to talk a bit more about Live, both like what our like goals with Live are, but also about learnings. Because when you do like mistakes, it's important to learn from them.
Yeah.
But let's start with the goals, and I would say we as like the core game team has like two main goals, and the first one is just like to celebrate Minecraft together with the players, because like we all love this game and we want to just take a moment to celebrate together. But then like we also want to we want to create dreams, player dreams. So when we show new things, we hope to like inspire the players to be like, oh, when these features are released, I want to build this or do that. So like the imagination goes like, and you feel like, really excited, because Minecraft is about the players and in like intrinsic motivation. But then of course, if we give big dreams, it's important that we really fulfill them, and it has like happened that we didn't manage to do that. So now we get to the learnings.
Yes, learning from mistakes. I should try that sometime. Learning from mistakes. Yeah,
trying at least. So for this live, we have actually taken like concrete actions to ensure that we really can fulfill these dreams. Because I mean, otherwise we don't achieve the purpose, and like we want to give dreams and
I think the problem is that, you have big dreams too, and sometimes your dreams are a little too big.
That's why we have Ingela too. I can be like, let's do this.
Okay, now I think you need to help Ingela build a little bit.
Yeah, I just want to mention like one example action. So we announce new features.
Yes.
And this year we will make sure that the features we show will have come like really far in the development process to ensure that we truly can.
Okay, so not so many early looks where you're not sure where it's going to end up.
And of course, like we still will tweak them with feedback and stuff, but we will feel like really confident that
this is going to make it. Yes. I think that'll make people really happy.
Yeah, I hope so.
Still a lot to dream about.
I'm glad that this specific issue is being admired, and it sounds like they're basically going to do what I suggested earlier in the video, which is only announcing features that the devs can strongly guarantee will be in the next updates. Even though it feels like Agnes is usually the one responsible for misleading people with update announcements, I do think she's an amazing developer, and she's not only very passionate for Minecraft, but this clip by itself proves that she cares very much about the community and wants everyone to have the best possible experience of Minecraft, so that I do very much appreciate. And I'm not saying none of the other developers care. I do think they all care, but Agnes, in my opinion, does the best job at showing how much she cares. Even though a lot of people have lost respect for Mojang after chat reporting, there is still a sliver of hope to bring back their respect, and by working to fix their mistakes, I think Mojang has a chance. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. I wanted to talk about this for a while, but like I said before, I was originally going to make this another chat reporting video, but I don't want to keep milking the topic dry if it's others, even if it gets me tons of views. And even though I already said this, I'll say it again. Please don't attack the developers or anyone at Mojang. Even if a lot of them have made mistakes, they're still human beings like the rest of us, and as humans, we make mistakes. I don't have a problem with people protesting against chat reporting, but please don't just go to one of the developers' social media pages just to shamelessly harass them or send death threats, because that's not okay. Anyways, that's about it for this video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and peace out. I said peace out. That means you can leave.